Yes, I am aware that the light in the kitchen renders a degree of credibility to my holiness with the glowing light and thingy going on. No, I'm not stoned. And I'm not drunk. I gave up drinking a while ago. But I am exhausted. Um, I have a tremendous number of people in my congregation, for lack of a better term. A lot of them are younger. They're struggling. We've as much progress as we think we've reached in this country post World War II. We're back to having 4 or 5 people living in an apartment meant for one couple. And, there's certainly a lot of problems that arise because familiarity breeds contempt. And, you start to reach the point where you're saying to people, distance makes the heart grow fonder, and I'm very fond of the distance between us. Now, please just go away. We don't really want to reach that point. In our world, our collective world, there are a lot of very gifted people. A lot of them are back to earth, off the grid, away from the government, etc. And these are things that I'm all for. Um, I guess what this video is about is I'm asking people, in our world, if they have any suggestions for this. I have right now 3 or 4 couples in my life that really need to get out of the space that they're in. And young romance is something that needs to grow. It's not just about the initial seeds of it. It's about cultivating it, nurturing it through a better understanding of one another. So it doesn't help when you are living in a barrel of monkeys and there are too many monkeys in it. It's that simple. So a few of us over the last couple of years have talked periodically about intentional communities, using the ideas of Buckminster Fuller, building the geodesic domes, and basically living in that. I have friends in Tennessee and California and a few other places who've basically put together communities, A-frame communities, geodesic domes, etc. And the other problem is, when you're dealing with Rothschild's money, you're always broke, always struggling. And, I definitely believe in self-reliance in a lot of areas. And, you know, with intentional communities, the thing is there's a work ethic that's established, so everybody does pitch in. Of course, there are problems with them. But I need people that are going to be able to help me further investigate land grants, what is available. I also need to understand the laws in different areas about, basically building recycled homes, out of tubing and canvas that comes from, for example, billboards, to seal and make the house safe. But what it's getting down to now is, the Gossamer Court, we're an affiliation of spiritually inspired artists devoted to healing through art. And this type of lifestyle seems very suitable, through my own experience, to artists, especially spiritually anchored artists, that try to live up to, good, decent, ethical values. I'm not getting any younger. Um, and yeah, all this white hair Shay put there. But anyway, I was just watching out for flying objects. Um, but I really need advice and suggestions from people. As I'm telling friends of mine that are going into college for the first time, get the grant money while you can because it's not going to be there forever. And I feel the same way about, land grants and things like that. but we're really searching. We're very serious about putting together at some point an intentional community. There's not a lot of money there. And, we're basically going to have to build this out of our own will with, a lot of recycled stuff. But it's not just about building a home, it's about building a community. One of the problems that I have noticed in the intentional communities that I visited is when you have 8 or 9 people living in the house, it's very hard, especially for couples or artists that need to have solo time to get away. And that is something that, we're putting into the planning of this. But if anybody has any advice out there, any resources that they can hook us up with, suggestions, etc., they would be most welcome. Right now, as it stands, we have about 3 or 4 couples, and we have a few artists. These are responsible people. They all, when work's available, work very hard. They're responsible about taking care of their obligations. And that is definitely a part of the criteria, for being a part of this. But, I don't know. I mean, most of us are artists, so we're looking at it in the context of an art community. Um, I know that a lot of people back in the 60s had unpleasant experiences, but I also know in the 2000s that there are people that really make the idea of the intentional community work. So, your suggestions are most welcome. We'll entertain the idea really of any area, but, we're looking for a place where we can get out of the urban environment, but at the same time be close to it. So, I will leave the information to, email me directly or contact me through Facebook. But again, your help is most appreciated. And as I say at the end of every video, this is you, Lundberg. Have a wonderful life. Thank you. Okay, you can go up.